Welcome to an interactive session with 10 counts. Today we have Brit boxer Larry Olubamiwo with us, who happens to be a professional actor right now. So glad to have you here, Larry. It seems that
Oh,
you're having
thank you so much.
a great time with your son right now, chilling at home.
Yeah, trying to feed him at the same time. His mum's gone out, so
Uh,
I've been left with the feeding duties. Yeah,
so how tough
yeah.
it has been for you? Like how are things right now in the United Kingdom? Because we know the entire world has been through a tough time. There has been lockdowns, partial lockdowns. So how it has been for you? Like how are things right now in England?
It's getting better. We've had quite a successful vaccine rollout. So, from what I understand, most of the population have their first dose, and I think half have had their second dose. So it's not been too bad. They're talking about variants and stuff like that, but they're saying that also the vaccine should work against the variants. So I think they're moaning about nothing really, and it's not too bad. We're trying to get back to some sort of normalcy here. So on the whole, I would say it's not bad. Most of the restrictions have been lifted, so yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Like gladly we could see that the sports world could revive itself in its primary form, like boxers, athletes. The showdowns have begun, and luckily we could get to see them in action. Now I just have to ask you this thing. Since the time that you have left boxing, a lot has changed. Like the exhibition trends, these comeback fights have really taken a toll. And we recently saw Floyd Mayweather walk out without a win in for the first time in his career. So, what's your take on that? Like, what do you make of these exhibition fights happening in the recent times and the changes that the entire boxing world has been through?
Um, at first, I was quite against these exhibition fights, um, but I think they're bringing a new audience to boxing, and I guess that's a good thing. I don't like the fact that YouTubers are earning more money than most professional boxers. So that I think that needs to be addressed. Not that it will, because that's boxing and that's the world in general. But at the same time, I think again it brings a new audience to boxing, and uh, yeah, it's a difficult one because I could see both sides of it. I can see both sides of it. And Logan Paul, he earned an exorbitant amount of money the other day, fighting Floyd Mayweather, and it's arguable whether he deserved it or not. In my mind, he didn't. Um, but at the same time, there's a saying in acting that it's show business, not show friends, and you get what you negotiate. So in that sense, yeah, you get what you negotiate. And if he's managed to negotiate that deal and put himself in a position where he can have these exhibition fights and earn that kind of money, then more power to him. Um, seeing the amount of money that he's earned, I wouldn't mind getting a few exhibition fights myself now. But yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. So I think there'll be people for, there'll be people against, and you can't really say either of them are wrong, because I could see both sides of it. But as you said quite rightly, the game has changed big time since I've left. When I was boxing, you'd never hear of these exhibition fights, or even like what Mike Tyson's trying to do, having a legends only league, which I actually like the sound of. I actually like the sound of that. So we'll see how it develops over the years. I've got a feeling that these exhibition fights are not going to be as popular in a few years. From what I didn't watch the fight, but well, if you can call it a fight, but from what I understand, the crowd were booing at the end of the fight. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think in that respect, I don't think unless it's exciting fights where they get to see knockouts and stuff. I don't think in a few years' time these exhibitions will be as popular as they are now. But then saying that, as I said, they bring a different sort of crowd to boxing. So maybe it'll be popular with them still, because most of the guys that are going to watch, most of the guys and girls that are going to watch that fight, those exhibition fights, are the YouTubers. You know, the boxing fans are not really going to watch fights like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see in a few years' time what happens with these. You know.
After you departed with your boxing career, you made a very fine transition into acting. You've already been into a few shows, a few appearances for the UK television, and now you're going to be appearing in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. So that's a really massive project for you. And we have already seen the trailer of Carnage. It was quite thrilling. It was quite engaging. So can you share us the experience that you had during the entire shooting of the movie, or even after you were done shooting, like after the trailer got dropped and the hype it has created already. So, can you explain the scenario and the experience that you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, excited is an understatement, to be honest with you. I really can't wait to see this movie myself. It was exciting to see the trailer, because if I'm actually in the trailer, but you can't see my face in the trailer. So there's a part where they cut to the Ravenscroft bit, and you see two guards standing there, and I'm the head guard about to walk in, and you can only see my back as I'm closing the door. So that was a bit frustrating. But these things always have a few trailers, so hopefully I'll be in the next trailer. But yes, I mean, shooting a movie was fantastic. You know, getting to work with people like Andy Serkis, who was the director, Naomi Harris as well. You know, yeah, it was a fantastic experience, and the excitement that everyone has now that they know that I'm in it as well, has been something else. So it's going to be great to see the build up to the film, and then the actual film itself. But yeah, it's just been it was a fantastic experience filming it, and it's been a fantastic experience seeing the excitement everyone has for the film, and yeah, I'm really excited to see the end product. So yeah, can't wait for September.
Larry, you've donned a lot of caps in your life. You've been a boxer, you've been a father, like right now you're feeding your child, you've been an actor.
Yeah.
So which one is the toughest role to play? Like you've been to different sides of life. So which one was the most toughest part and you felt like, no, I have to work a lot in it?
Well, I'm a new father. This is my firstborn, and I will. Yeah, I have to say, being a father, because it's a job for life, and it's a big responsibility, you know, being a dad. So in fact, let me get this little one here.
Oh.
Yeah, he's sleeping. He's sleeping.
Oh,
There you go.
Cutie.
There you
That's
go.
the girl. That's a cutie. Straight at.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely being a father. Definitely being a father. It brings the most joy, but it's definitely the most difficult. And I haven't even begun to experience the difficulty yet. So yeah, I'm sure this little fella's gonna give me plenty of that over the years, but it's gonna be a joy nonetheless, you know. Yeah.
Larry, being an actor, being a boxer, I know you respect the decision that your child would take regarding his or her profession in the future. But do you ever envision them like, okay, maybe they should become a boxer too, or maybe they should try themselves into acting, or maybe they should do something like become a scientist or a pilot? Like, did you ever think about that?
To be honest with you, I would prefer my son not to box. I know it's a bit of a weird one, but I know the politics of boxing. And also, well, as an example, he was circumcised about 2 days ago, and the way he was crying and looking at me, it was like he was saying, "Daddy, why are you letting this happen to me?" And I felt so bad, and it's like, and I was thinking about it then, that if he was to be in a ring, I mean, even as a grown man, he's still your son, you know, he's still my son, and to see him take blows, it wouldn't be nice. And now I can understand what my mum went through when I was boxing, because she never could watch me live on TV. She always used to wait until I told her that I was okay after the fight to watch the fight. So yeah, I would prefer my son not to be a boxer, but obviously if that's what he really wanted to do, I wouldn't get in his way, and I'll support him 100%, you know. So, you know, whatever he wants to do, it's up to him, you know, and I'll be there
Really,
supporting.
that's really a great statement coming from a former boxer, now an actor. Now, coming
Yeah.
back to your boxing journey, when you started off, Larry, I still remember for the first 2 years, you really went on a tear. You were knocking people out. And since you're in heavyweight, and I understand heavyweight boxing is quite a different thing, the end journey, like you faced some scratchy losses in the end of your journey, and it happens with all the boxers. So, do you feel that heavyweight boxing demands somewhere something extra from the pugilists other than the other weight classes, or do you feel that it's the same, like it's just boxing, or do you feel that these weight classes have got their own unique features, have got their own unique styles?
I do feel that the weight classes are quite different. The boxing is quite different at heavyweight than it will be as a middleweight, as a welterweight. I think that the pace that the lighter weights go at is, you know, the heavyweights can't replicate. But then the power that is generated at heavyweight can't be replicated at any other weight, for the most part. So I feel like, and this is why, for the most part, up until maybe recently, heavyweight's always been the marquee division. It's always been the division that everyone looks to, the division that makes the most money, because everyone wants to see big guys knock each other out, you know? So I feel like, yes, there is a marked difference between the boxing styles in the weight classes, generally speaking. I do feel though that's the difference has become more exaggerated over the years with the size of heavyweights. So, like for instance, when I was a heavyweight, I was boxing at around 18 stone, and heavyweights back in the 70s, 80s, they were around 15 stone. So it's a big difference, you know. And obviously, if you're at 15 stone, your work rate is going to be a lot more than someone at 18 stone, generally speaking. But then the power of the 18 stoner is, generally speaking, going to be much greater than the 15 stone. So I think over the years, it's been the difference has been exaggerated, especially over heavyweight. It has made for more exciting fights, but at the same time, it has made some fights a bit mundane. So I think there's good and bad to that difference, you know. I mean, over the last few years, should I say, the lighter weights have taken more prominence, like the welterweights, you know, since Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather and Cotto and, you know, all these guys, the welterweights, light welterweights, light middleweights, I think they've become more prominent over the last 10 to 15 years, because there's been some really exciting fighters and exciting fights to be made at those weights, as opposed to heavyweights. So yeah, I feel like the styles are a little different, but at the same time, it's more about what are the exciting fights at those weights. And if you've got, because now the heavyweight division is being talked about again, because you've got Tyson Fury, you've got Anthony Joshua, you've also got obviously Wilder still in there. You got Usyk, you know, you got a few guys who are there or thereabouts. So it's getting exciting again. It's getting, you know, there's competitiveness again, you know. Whereas when Vladimir Klitschko was doing his thing, it wasn't really competitive. He was blowing everyone away, and his boxing style, while effective, wasn't very exciting. So, you know, it's styles make fights, as they say.
Now, we've recently seen a great turmoil take place in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury were supposed to fight for the unification bout, and we've recently seen Deontay Wilder slide in, and now Fury is going to face Wilder on July 24. So do you think that the outcome would be same, or do you see Wilder landing an upset this time?
Nah, I don't even see why Wilder wants that fight, being real with you. I mean, the same thing that happened in the second fight is going to happen again, probably even earlier. Tyson Fury has his number. I was explaining this to a friend of mine. I said, look, the first fight, Tyson Fury wasn't even ready for that fight. I mean, he came off a layoff. He was overweight. He didn't even take a warm-up fight, and he still came. And to most people's minds, he won that fight, even though it was a draw. And you know he won that fight because Wilder knocked him down, and he still got a draw. So that that shows you how much he dominated despite a knockdown. And the second fight, he dominated throughout and then stopped Wilder because he had a proper preparation this time. And there's nothing to suggest that anything different is going to take place in the third fight, which again is why I'm very shocked that Wilder and his people are insisting on this fight. It makes no sense to me. If I was Wilder, I would have asked to fight the winner of Fury and Joshua. That would have made more sense, and then take an interim fight with maybe Dylan White, because that's a fight that everyone wants to see. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's advising Wilder, or I don't know what's going on there. But it's in my mind, it's very silly of him and his team to want to fight Fury again, because the same outcome, if not even worse, is going to happen to him in this next fight. I mean, the only way he wins this fight is if Tyson comes unprepared, which I doubt that's going to happen, because he still wants that fight with Anthony Joshua. So, yeah.
Now, coming back to your journey with Venom 2 and your acting career, so the movie is about to hit the screens. The first movie was absolutely a hit, and like we know that that movie almost touched around $1 billion, if I'm not wrong, which we might see the second film can turn out to be. So do you feel that this box office records are going to put some pressure on the cast and the promoters of the movie, or do you feel that Venom 2 is going to absolutely blow people's mind?
Yeah, so the first Venom almost made $1 billion. I think it made 856 million at the box office, which at the time was astounding. It was a shock, because Venom is synonymous with Spider-Man. And because there was no Spider-Man, even I had my doubts as to how good the first Venom film was going to be. So for it to make the amount of money that it did make at the box office was just astounding. But it was a fantastic film. I absolutely loved what they did with the first Venom, and obviously with Tom Hardy there, you can't go wrong. I mean, the guy's a fantastic actor. He's one of the best around at the moment. So before the pandemic hit, I'm quite sure that everyone at Sony was thinking, yes, we're going to make $1 billion with this film. With the pandemic, it's going to be a little difficult, because obviously a lot of cinemas around the world are still closed. And some of the ones, in fact, most of the ones that are open are only doing half the capacity right now. So not as much money can be made at the box office. So it's going to be quite difficult for them to make $1 billion. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's going to be a lot more difficult than what we thought it would be before the pandemic. That being said, the performance of a few films during the pandemic, one being Godzilla vs. Kong, which made a lot of money. I think it made at the box office over 400 million. And Mortal Kombat is doing really well at the box office as well. I think that shows that people do have an appetite to get back to the cinema. So it's not entirely it's not impossible for Venom, Let There Be Carnage to make $1 billion, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. But I don't feel that any of the main actors, or Sony for that matter, feel any pressure to make $1 billion now, because of the circumstances of the film being released. You got to remember this film was meant to be released last year, October.
Yeah.
I filmed my scene in January last year, which was a year and a half ago. So it just shows you how much they've tried to delay the film to make the money that they want to make, and they can only delay it so much. So I think it will make a good amount of money. It will make a healthy profit. That's for sure. I mean, so many people are looking forward to this film. But $1 billion, it's going to be difficult, but it's possible. It's possible, you know. Restrictions are being lifted in a lot of places all the time. We've still got the last of the restrictions to be removed here in a week or two, although they might be waiting on that a bit more. So, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Like, absolutely. It was an honor talking to you, Larry. It was great interacting with you, knowing so much about your acting career, about your boxing career. And we wish you all the best for your upcoming endeavor with movies. And we congratulate you for being a new father. Hopefully, you will reconnect soon and we might know more about your personal life, about your family, about your newborn baby. But till then, thank you so much for joining with us and all the best for your upcoming journey. It is great interacting with you.
Thank you very much. You take care.
Thank you so much, viewers, for joining with us. So we will meet again soon after some time. Till then, everyone stay safe and stay well.